Hi there, Ted here from eModels. This is part 9 of the Typhoon build. You join me just as I'm putting the canopy onto the fuselage. There we go, I think that's done. You want to see how we got it to this far? Go and watch the rest of the video. Okay, so here we are. Here's the start of how we got to the stage that you saw the aircraft in the introduction, and this is where we begin. I did say in the last video that I was going to show you some sticking and gluing this time, and that we were going to progress and put the undercarriage on. However, what I did before we started filming is that I came along and did one of the undercarriages. I did the looking at it, the starboard side, and I do that because I like to give things a test run through before I actually come and show you it on the video. And I'm pretty glad I did, really, because I think if I was to show you right now, sticking and gluing all these bits on, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 internal bits, then the wheel and the undercarriage doors themselves. There's a few bits there. It would have been quite difficult to see because as I did all this in here, I'm looking for a pointy stick. That's my famous pointy sticks, because as I did all this detail in here that I'm trying to get you to see on the camera now, it's all really a bit fiddly, and all you would have seen would have been lots of hands and things, and in fact you probably wouldn't have seen anything at all. If it wasn't for me getting my head in the way, I'd have probably got my hands in the way as well. So what I would suggest that you do would be to follow the instructions. They are quite good. However, what I will suggest that you do is this part, which is looking at the plan, if I can find it, which is D51 and D50, which is a little piece of pneumatic pipework and wires and such, is to actually fit that one first before you fit what I assume to be an air tank. Before you fit parts 54 and D55, this part here actually fits behind the air tank, and I think if I was doing this again, or certainly when I do it on the other side, I'll put that part in first and then the air tank. Now you've also got to watch that when you put this part in, it goes the right way round, it goes the right way up, and it also fits into this wing structure frame here. Have a look on the instructions, examine them closely, and you'll see that it actually goes under one side of it and sits in there quite nicely. It will fit in. It does struggle a bit, but as I was saying, I'll certainly put the air tank in second, not as they suggest in the plan, put that in first. Then the rest of it sort of follows. It's all sort of tweezer work. If you've got yourself a good pair of tweezers, you're going to need them, and it all comes in and looks quite nice. Now another thing I've done with these as well is on here is the sort of the legs themselves, all the undercarriage parts and things are painted in Humbrol 165, but what I've actually done sort of on the rams where the pneumatics would work, on the rams I've actually give them a coat of polished aluminium 27002. It's an enamel, that, and it gives it, I don't know if you can quite make it out on here, if this camera wants to get in focus or not. All the rams, I've given them a coat of the polished aluminium, and it really makes them shine a little bit. Looks like they really should, and it doesn't give it that same monotonous colour. Also, while we're on about paint as well, the tyres, the instructions suggest them to be Humbrol 33, just matte black. This is where I took a bit of a deviation from the Humbrol colours, which I've done very little of during this build. It's all been the Humbrol colours, but I did use, if I can find it, can't quite put my hands on it now, where's it gone? There it is. Yep, I used the Humbrol Viero number 70 black grey. Certainly there's other manufacturers available, but the Viero, the one I've been using for a long time, which does give quite a nice black grey colour to your rubber tyres. On about tyres and wheels, I've fit the rear undercarriage, the tail wheel. Now in the instructions it says to leave it free so it can swing up and down, but in effect what was happening was when the aircraft is stood up, the wheel, if it was moved, the wheel would drop into the hollow, the aperture, and it would sit down on its wheel. So I've actually glued that. There's no need for it to be free moving, certainly not, I don't think anyway. So that's what I've done with that. So what we're going to do now, I'm going to go and fit this undercarriage on the port side. It should go together now. Once I've done the stab, once I've done one side, it should go together quite easily and quite quickly. And because I've sort of let you down really, and you can't see that bit of a build, or it's not really worth you trying to see through my hands, we're going to skip ahead to something that I didn't expect to be doing so soon, but we're about ready now. We're going to look at putting the decals on it. She's about ready for that now. What we're going to use for doing this is, once again, I've moved away from Humbrol and I've gone for the Microsol. This is available from the guys at E-Models. I'm using the red one. There is a red and a blue one, and some people say that you use both, some say you can use one. The guys at E-Models have suggested, well, we just get away with this one. So we're going to use that rather than the Humbrol Decal Fix themselves. However, what I might do, just thinking about it off the top of my head just now, is that we might actually put some on with the Decal Fix, and we'll put some on with the Microsol, and do a little bit of a comparison and see what it looks like. Do an on-the-job video test, really. So we'll do that. So before we do that, I will be giving the aircraft where we're going to put the decals. I can't find that either. Everything I put down seems to disappear. But I'm going to give it all a coat, the aircraft a coat of Humbrol Clear. Give it a nice shiny surface for the decals to fix to, so they don't silver, and then we'll matte it all down again later as well. So I'll give it a couple of coats of that, 2 or 3 coats, let it dry in between each coat. I'll be applying that with the airbrush, and then we can start and put it all together. I've also done the propeller. You can see here. I'm not going to put that on yet because I think once we get around to doing the decals, it's just something else that's going to get in the way. But that's all nicely painted, and you can probably see it's all weathered. Some of you might think it's a bit heavily weathered. It's had a bit of a hard time as this aircraft, but coming from the armour world, weathering and paint chipping and such is our thing, really. So I think it looks alright. Anyway, I won't hold you up any longer. You go and get a brew while I get all this done, and when you've got your brew ready, you can come back and we'll have a look at putting some decals on. Okay, see you in a minute. There, as you come back to me now, what you'll see with what I've already done, I've gone and given it 2 or 3 coats of the Humbrol Clear, which I spoke about before. I've let that dry, and then I've gone on, and as you can already see, I've put the markings already on the port side of the airplane. I just wanted to do that first, just before I came back to show you how to do it, really to find out how to do it myself, because I've not actually used this Microsol before, and I wanted to see how it went on, and it really is excellent stuff. I don't think you can see it from that far away, so if you bear with me, just give me a moment. We'll zoom it in, and we'll see if we can see how well it's settled these decals down. Right, let's have a look at this and we'll zoom in. There, that was a bit better than I thought it would be, otherwise it's usually going in and out. Now if you can see on this, it really sinks these decals in. There's a two types. There's the micro sol, which we're using here, and that sort of it's a solution, a micro sol solution to sort of melt the decal into place. And there's a micro set, which is, as its name really implies, it sets the decal in place. You normally will put the micro set on first, then put the decal on, and then add the microsol quite liberally over this and leave it overnight. That's another reason I did this, so I could leave it overnight, so it wasn't a matter of putting it on, coming back, and then waiting to show you again how it sets. So you can really see how, find my pointy stick, you can really see how it's set into these raised details along here and giving it really an excellent effect of looking like it's being painted on. Right, let's zoom this back out and we'll have a look at the other side and we'll show you how it's done. So let's turn the aircraft around. I've put it on a little foam block just to bring it more level so we can see how things are going on. Now then, what do we need to do this? I'm sure that most of you will already know, but for the guys that are new to this, there's a couple of things we need. First of all, we need some warm or tepid water. Nothing too hot, nothing too cold. I find if it's a little bit warm, it does tend to ease the decals off a little bit more. And these decals, the ones that are supplied in the kit, are actually pretty good. There's very, very little carrier film. They're really nice and thin, and they seem to hold together quite well. Obviously the fresh new decals, I'm sure that those who know what it's like when you've had decals lying around for a few years, and they tend to go off and really get difficult to put on. What else do we need? We need a couple of paintbrushes, a nice broad one and a thin one. Usually really more tools than paintbrushes. Helps us apply the decal to the surface and also apply the liquids that we need. Some cotton buds for mopping up, and of course some tissues just in case, have some free lying around, and of course some tweezers. Get everything to hand first, because once you start this process you really need to keep moving with it to get things going on and not messing around and getting it wrong. Right, what we're going to do first, we're going to have a look at putting the roundel on this side. So we'll find that one first. That's this one. I've already cut them out. It's easier if you can get them cut out. We'll look at putting the cords on, the tail markings and the identification number on there. Make sure you get the numbers, the letters the right way around, not the other way. Make sure you get them the right way around. Look at the drawing, make sure you're getting them in the right place. And we're ready to go. So let's have a look at this roundel first. What we need to do, I've cut it out and cut it out quite close to the decal itself. As I say, there's not a lot of carrier film on these, so you can leave a little edge around, and I actually leave in one place, leave a little edge just so I can grip it with the tweezers when it comes out of the water, and I've got something to work with. So that's going to go on there. Check the position, check where you want it to go, and let's drop it in the water. Okay, leave it in there, and while we're doing that, I actually used the Humbrol Decal Fix as the setting solution. So what I'll do, while that roundel is soaking in there, just checking that it's going to go in the right place, and I will apply just a coating onto the surface of the body where the decal is going to go. Don't need to go overboard with it, just put enough on. This allows the decal, when it's in place, just allows you to move it around a little bit and it doesn't stick to the surface. The clear will give you some chance to move it around. Now we'll just check, just to touch the decal while it's in the water, just to see whether or not it's coming loose. Yeah, it's starting to move. Just leave it another second. You don't want it floating off. Just have it moving, just to make sure it's all around. Don't let it float off, otherwise you have a hell's own job trying to pick it up and straighten it out. Okay, we're ready to go. So there we go. Now once this goes, take your brush, get it into position. Looking at the drawing really shows it's quite high, and then slide it off, holding it in position really, but then sliding the backing from underneath it. And there we go. Now hopefully, if we've got this in the right position, just check it. Just check. The drawing is pretty good in the back of the instructions to show you where it does go. Yeah, about there. So we're already in the right place. Now then, push it in. You could use a wet cotton bud for this. Just push it in, and because there's a raised ridge along the top there, and you need to form the decal around the top and bottom of it to get it to fold over, and that way it will sit nicely in there as well. And we can use the brush now, the cotton bud, just to mop up the excess water. And there we'll look, it's already sorting, it's really thin, these decals, and it's already trying to sit into the ridges and depressions of the bodywork. Right, okay, don't do too much with it, because we're going to go on the next stage now, and that's where, put the lid back on that, that's where the microsol comes in. Move things out the way. So this time, take your brush and give it a liberal dosing of microsol, and just touch it around. You don't need to go over, just keep it on the decal itself. A nice dose. It will run around, it's quite fluid. It's not a thick liquid, it's quite fluid. And that will start and soften it. And as it dries, it will suck down. Now this isn't going to happen instantly. We'll just take the cotton bud just to mop up some of that. And now we can just touch to get it in and fold into the ridge. Don't go pushing and shoving, otherwise you'll rip your decal. There, that's that one. Just another touch of it as we've moved it off. What you can do, you can come back to it if you think it hasn't gone down enough. Come back to it later and give it some more. Just push it in, smooth it all, get all the air bubbles out. There's no air bubbles underneath. If there was, you could just prick the decal with a sharp knife and get the air from underneath, or if it's small enough like this, you could just smooth it out. Just checking that you can see it. Just smooth it out till the end. Okay, that's that one done. Leave it, don't touch it now, it's soft. Right, the next one. Let's do the same again. This time we'll do the chords. We'll look at putting the C in there. Charlie, C for Charlie. That fits in there. Remember when we sprayed this, we masked all that off. Okay, let's do another one. Same procedure. Drop that in there. Keeping the bench tidy, chucking things away. Once again, we come to the decal fix, the humble one, as a setting solution. Some of you may find that if you put a coat of clear on, some of the older decal fix will actually rub off or wipe off the clear coat you've put on, especially if you use maybe Future or something like that, or the floor polish, because the original decal fix was ammonia based. I think they've changed the product now, and it's not so much ammonia based anymore, but it doesn't seem to be having any effect on the clear that we've got on here, the Humble Clear. Obviously, hopefully the two products are compatible. So that one's gone on there. You'll also find, sometimes you might find that when you do put it on, I found last night and got quite worried that when I put it on that the decal fix actually frosted the clear coat, but I'd left it a little bit and after that it just disappeared. So the frosting on the clear coat had gone. Now then, this is a little bit more difficult because of the shape. It's not a solid shape, the letter. Trying to get it on. There we go. And okay, that's that one. So we can use now the paintbrush. He says trying to move it. I use my fingers just to move it into there. That fits in nicely. Same procedure again. Oops. I touched that and moved it a little bit. On this one, there's a row of rivets right along the top here, and I'm actually slitting the code letter just underneath, almost touching it. Well, it is touching it, so that way it's a way of keeping it straight. Right, back to the decal fix, sorry, the microsalt. And it's really an odd shaped bottle, that, so you've got to be careful with it that while you've got it on you're not going to knock it over. Okay, that's that one on. Simple. Just leave it, don't mess with it. And certainly once you've put the microsol on, it will just become a gloopy mess if you try and mess with it. So that's that one done as well. And now we can try, for the final part of this video, this section, we'll put the code letter G in. So that goes on there. Final time. Put the decals on. When you start to get the stage, this stage here, putting the decals on, she really starts coming alive now, looking like a proper aircraft and not just a lump of unpainted plastic. Yeah, the paint has that effect, but now we're getting to this stage. The decals are going on. Yeah, she's getting there. Okay, we're ready to go with that one. Just trying to make it so you can see what I'm doing. Just touching in there. Just mop up the excess water. Just by rolling, I actually find that by rolling a Q-tip, a cotton bud, across the decal, it actually helps it just to sit in without exerting too much pressure. Okay, that's that one. And finally, for this section, we'll just put the microsole on. And leave it. That's it. It will take overnight. Maybe if you're doing this in an evening, end of the day, just to relax, doing your modelling in an evening, you'll come back in the morning before you start the next day, and you'll find it'll have sucked in. But if not, you can give it another coat. It'll soften it down again, and you can have another go at it. There, that's it. Just continue the rest like that. What I'm going to do next is put this one on here. Now then, when this one goes on, because we've got the gun ports open, you'll actually see that on the drawing it shows that this decal here is actually it goes over the gun port. Can I find a drawing of one? Here we go. You see this diagram I've got here? See how this roundel here actually goes over the gun port. But what I will do with this is put it over in one piece. Get the right position, put it over in one piece, and then just leave it. Don't put it on as normal. Just leave it, and then then when it's dry, get a sharp knife, your sharp scalpel, with a new blade. The sharper the better. Put a new blade in it, and then just carve off the excess. And if you wanted to, when you do the gun bay doors, although you won't see it, you could actually, that's a piece that's been cut off the other side, you could put that on the underside of the gun bay doors, that's if you wanted to, so it would match up. So you can keep that piece. It will go on with your microsole and your microset and stuff like that. Anyway, I'll go and carry on and get this done. I'll just put the codes on and the letters, and then we'll come back and look at something else. I haven't quite decided what we're going to do yet, but I'll think of that while we're doing the decals. Alright, I'll carry on with this, and I'll see you shortly. Okay, we'll put the aircraft to one side just to let the decals set and go off. While we're doing that, I thought we could put a part in this video where we'll look at the canopy. I've got the replacement canopy from Airfix. Some of the initial batches, they were all cracked and dimpled. But what we're going to do now, we're going to have a look at masking this and preparing it for painting. And there's a little technique that I'll show you how to do that. Now, to mask it, I'm going to use some thin Tamiya tape to get around the edges. And then following that, I'll use some of the thicker one just to mask everything off, so we can do it. Now I hope you can see what we're going to do, but I will explain as we go along. First of all, what we have to do is get the tape on and find the parts. You can see on the canopy itself where we're going to need to paint it and what we're going to need to keep clear. So what we can do is put a layer of the centimetre tape. That way it'll follow the contours a lot better, and we can press it down and emboss it in, rub it down and make sure that it's nice and snug. Simple to do. It's just easy enough to see the lines of where we're going to need paint and where we're going to try and avoid. Really press it down with the fingers and get it in. I'll show you in a minute something else that we could do to see that. It is a bit fiddly. Hope you can see this without it being all fingers and hands and heads and headsets. There, you can feel that going in. There's a ridge as it goes along. I'm just trying to find something that I can use the back of this probe just to feed it along and feel where it's going to sit and where we need to cut the tape off from the masking. And around the top as well. Into there, it'll feel, and you can see it underneath how it sits down. Runs along the line where we're going to cut from. Now then, for those of you who have a mobile phone, especially one with a light on the back, this is where, if I can turn the torch on, this is where the light comes in useful. And a little bit of a tip, hopefully it's not going to glare on the camera that much, but this is where we can put the light. I think actually what we need to do is mask it all off, so we'll just turn that off, save my battery. Using the thicker tape to mask it over, otherwise the light will shine through it. I thought we'd have got away with just I'll find the ends on these rolls. Somewhere there it is. Yeah, if you've got a light on your phone, use that like we're going to do in a moment, and you should hopefully be able to see the line of where you need to cut. It's a little bit difficult to show this on video, but if I explain the principle, when you try it yourself, I'm sure you'll find that it will work. Now then, what you do need as well is, once again, your scalpel with the new blade. We've kept the new blade in from doing the decals before. We've rubbed the line down, the tape down onto the line. Turn our light back on. Put that over there, and we can see right through. We could see in here. I don't know if you can really see that. And the light's playing havoc with the focus. We can see in there where we're needing to cut. So just light line, nice and sharp. Take it along to the end. It's always the thing about canopies, you get one go I know that Airfix do a replacement service, but rather than waiting for a couple of weeks to get a new canopy, we'll see if we can get it done in one. And that's the first bit done, I think. Find my tweezers. Can't find my tweezers. Had them a moment ago. I'll use this pair. Now we can try and take off. There. I can take off the bit where we've cut along, and we can continue doing that all round until we get it all done and ready for painting. Now, whether you want to spray this, whether you want to airbrush it, or whether you want to do it by hand, it's only a small piece. It's whether it's worth getting the airbrush out to do such a small bit. But there's a front screen as well, the windscreen, so there is a couple of little bits to do. This really does allow this piece here. If you haven't got a phone with a light on, you can maybe rig something else up using a torch. There's one or two small torches, but make sure that your knife blade is new and is razor sharp, because all it will do if it isn't, it will just drag the tape off rather than cutting it cleanly. Obviously, prior to doing this, I forgot to say, I dipped the canopy in some clear. It gives it a nice shine. While I had the clear out doing the bodywork, the fuselage for the aircraft, for the decals, I used it to give the canopy a coat as well, and it really sparkles. Just a little bit round on the edge to do. It's quite bright, this torch. Really lets you see where you need to cut and what you need to take off. Once the canopy goes on, we'll probably have done that by the next video, or the next time you come along. Canopy will be on and ready to go. We'll be about done. There's not much left to do on this now. There's the rockets to do, of course, the weapons, and some of the small decals to go on. Obviously we've got some of the other bits of clear plastic, some of the wingtip lights and such to going as well, but that's just a matter of painting those, putting them on, and we'll be about done. Probably we'll only have another video after this, just looking at some finishing off and some weathering, and a quick overview of what we've done. It's taken a little while to get here, but it's been an enjoyable build. It's been a great aircraft to do. As I say, I'm not often an aircraft builder, but I've really enjoyed this. Just finishing them bits off, and there we have. When it comes back into focus, let's turn this light out, it might come into focus then. There we have one finished canopy. Just the same to do, just exactly the same principle on this. There's the 1, 2, 3 sides to do, because there's the framework around the windscreen itself there to do. It can go together and we're ready to go. Right, I think I've taken up most of your time today. It's a bit of a shorter video than usual, but there's not much to see. It's really just been a matter of setting you on your way and showing you how we do things. There are lots of other ways and means of doing decals, such as masks and such like that, but I think let's bring it back in. I think now that these have gone on and the microsol has settled everything down, you can see here how we discussed about putting this roundel on and covering, leaving it on, put it all in one piece, let it go off, and tomorrow I shall slice that bit off the same as I've done here, just to open it up over the gun bays. But they're all nicely settled down. There's lots more decals to go on, and I'm sure you don't want to sit here for hours watching me put all tiny decals on. The smaller ones wouldn't really need the micro set or the microsol, because they'll just sit on themselves. Also here as well, there's a walkway strip just in here. There's a walkway strip. Now I've put the step down recessed, so what I'll do tomorrow is that when this is set and gone off, if you can see it with the black against the black, when this has gone off, I shall slice the decal and lay it down into the step, into the recessed step, and that should make it look better. What you will find as well, if you are using microsol, you can't quite see it with the lighting here, what you'll find with the microsol is that it will make your decals, or some of them, go all horrible and wrinkly, and you'll think, crikey. But leave it, let it go off overnight, and tomorrow it'll be nice and smooth and all laid down. But that's about it. She's looking great, nearly done. Another thing that I did mean to mention is that the tail wheel. I put the tail wheel on, and whether I'd put too much glue on or whether something was wrong with the fit, but it seemed to sit back on the tail wheel, and picking it up, putting it down, it wobbled itself off. So what I'm going to do, I'm just going to reinforce that with a brass rod. I'll drill both sides with a brass rod, put them in there, and that'll strengthen that up. It may be that I've actually put too much glue on and it might have weakened the plastic itself, but if you get that problem, that's how you can overcome it. Just a thin brass rod just to tighten that up, and it'll all go back together and sit very nicely. Other than that, now we've got some of the decals on, or once I put the decals on the bottom, I did say that we were going to use the Decal fix and compare the two. Now what I'll do, when I put the decals on the bottom here, I'll use the Humble Decal fix. When we come back next time, we'll have a look at the comparison and see how they've done, but up to now I'm really pleased with the microsol. Anyway, so that's going to be about it today. As I said, when we come back, we'll be a lot further forward. I'll do some building next time. I can't remember what I was going to say. My head's a shed now. Yeah, I'll put the flaps on. They'll be on and glued in place, and she'll be looking ready to go. So the canopy will all be all sprayed up. That'll be sat on there in the open position with the windscreen. Where's the windscreen gone? The windscreen will be here. That can go and sit in there like that. And she's, oh, you can't see it. There. Once we take these bits off the side, she'll sit in there like that, and we're ready to go. Or is it that way around? I get it the right way around. It's that way around. That's it. Read the instructions. And she'll sit there like that, looking ready. Okay, where's the prop? Canopy keeps falling off. Never mind, let's zoom it out a little bit so we can see it all before we go. Anyway, that's me for this video. It's Ted from eModels, emodels.com. Yep, I can't remember. It's too late. It's too late in the day now. The guys at eModels, anything you need, give them a bell. A cracking bunch. Got everything you need, and as my friend Fox says, if they haven't got it, you probably don't need it. But they've certainly got the Hawker Mark 1B in stock. Give them a bell, and they'll probably send you one. But that's all from me today, from Ted. So thank you very much for watching our videos. Please comment or like them, make a comment below, or see us on Facebook, and we'll see you all next time. But thanks for watching. Okay, so bye now.